There are moments, born from a very genuine wish, when we offer advice, reminders, or even try to help others become better. We believe we're doing the right thing, helping them grow. But if we pause for a moment and look deeply into our true motives, we might see something subtle and very real. A quiet thought inside us, whispering, "I understand better. I'm correcting them. I'm more right than they are." This ego is not loud. It doesn't argue or shout, but it quietly makes us feel above others. And when this subtle ego hides beneath our kindness, that kindness turns into a conditional gift. It easily becomes arrogance wearing the mask of virtue, and we don't even notice it. From a philosophical and Buddhist perspective, this is a form of the subtle self. The subtle self is a refined form of attachment to I, harder to detect than the coarse ego. On a coarse level, it's easy to recognize. I like this. I hate that. I want to be better than others. I'm right. They're wrong. But even with deep practice or a very still mind, there can remain a faint sense that I am here, even when no clear thoughts are present. In Buddhist teachings, this is called the subtle view of self, Sakkaya Ditthi, a clinging to I exist, even without concrete ideas attached. In daily life, this subtle self can be seen in examples like helping others, but deep down wanting recognition, a self longing to be praised. During meditation, when the mind is calm, feeling a trace of pride, I am so peaceful, I'm doing better than others. In discussions, feeling no anger, but still wanting to be seen as the wiser one, another subtle layer of ego. Even saying, "I have no ego anymore," is itself a subtle form of ego. In other words, the subtle self isn't noisy or crude, but it quietly shapes our thoughts and actions, keeping us from true freedom. Instead of listening, we want to persuade. Instead of empathizing, we want to correct. And in our efforts to heal others, we forget we too are the ones in need of healing. When suffering comes, we also fall into the same illusion. We say, "I'm sad, I'm hopeless, I'm a failure." We cling tightly to passing emotions and believe that they are who we are. But the Buddha teaches, these emotions are like clouds drifting across the sky, real but impermanent. What we call I is neither the rainstorm nor the sky that seems to be covered. Body, mind, emotions, thoughts, all constantly change. All are impermanent, and so none of them can be our true self. 1. What is non-self? In the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha said, form is not self, feeling is not self, perception is not self, mental formations are not self, consciousness is not self. Whatever is not self is not mine, is not who I am, is not my true essence. Non-self means there is no permanent, unchanging I within this body, mind, or the world. What we call I is only a temporary gathering of the 5 aggregates. Form, the physical body. Feeling, sensations of pleasure, pain, or neutrality. Perception, thoughts, memories, imagination, mental formations, will, habits, reactions, consciousness, awareness, knowing. These elements come together when conditions arise, forming what we call a person. When conditions end, they dissolve. There is no eternal soul or fixed self behind them. 2. A simple analogy. The Buddha once compared the self to a chariot in the Milinda Panya. A chariot is nothing more than wheels, axles, frame, and parts. Take the parts apart, the chariot disappears. The self is the same, a temporary collection of elements without a permanent owner or controller. Or picture the self as a river. A river has a name, a shape, a flow, but the water is always moving. Not a single drop remains. What we call the river is only a convergence of water, rain, land, and current. Likewise, the self is a process, not a fixed entity. Why does clinging to I bring suffering? The Buddha taught, when we believe in a permanent I, we begin to wish the world around us would never change, suffer deeply when faced with aging, sickness, death, and loss, despair when others change or when we ourselves do. In truth, we do not suffer because things change. We suffer because we resist the truth that everything changes. Practicing non-self in daily life. Observe the body. When breathing, walking, remember this body is only borrowed from earth, water, wind, and fire. Observe the mind. Each thought and feeling is like a cloud passing across the sky, not me. Loosen the grip of I. In conflict, instead of needing to win, practice listening. When hurt, see that the other person is also just a flowing stream, not a fixed being to hold anger against. Non-self is not just a philosophy to admire, but a path back to our true nature, a nature no longer bound by name, role, or past wounds. When we release the I we believed we were, suffering has nowhere to cling. Anger fades, fear softens, craving grows quiet. We see no one has ever truly been separate from anyone else. There are only clouds drifting across a vast sky, and our hearts become as light as those clouds. From that moment, we no longer just live, we truly live with an open heart, with compassion, like someone who finally knows who they are and who they are not.